Welcome back to Cybertopia. In the last episode, we heard the latest group to wake up split off into two different groups after being ejected from a diner for having no money. Cyan and Smart Coolman made a new best friend, but in the meantime, Juli and Frankie went off in search of some shelter and friends of their own. So let's catch up with them and see if they're as successful as Smart. Also, stick around at the end to hear a special promo from friends of the show, No Latency, GM'd by last episode's guest star, Binary Dragon. Okay, Frankie, Juli, how are you going to find your autonomous rights collaborative?
Well, I mean, the first thing I would do is look around to see. I mean, robots probably don't mingle with people as much. So I'm going to kind of wander around unless Frankie has a better idea to wander around and look for some signs and posters and, you know, a place where there's a cluster of robots.
We think they're highly internet connected, right? So maybe look for
right.
communications things on the buildings.
That would be the smart thing to do.
But other than that, yeah, wander around looking for buildings that look like they house lots of tech, basically.
Okay. Let's have a searching role, I guess. One of you assist the other, or you could both do one. It's up to you.
I'll assist you, Frankie, if that sounds good.
Yeah, probably. I think I can gaze into the abyss again, because we're looking upwards at the roofs.
Sure.
As much as anything.
Just, Julie, have anything to assist?
No. Unless Kludging might, perhaps, or Mad Science or Kludging might help, because I'm what I'm looking for, but...
I mean, if you were to make something that might help you do this, then possibly, but otherwise I'd say probably no.
Could I use my Porter Lab to try to make a robot detector?
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's have a roll to see what you can cludge together from what you've got.
We have the cam drone as well.
Oh yeah, that too.
So I don't know if that helps with the cludging or...
Let's see how the roll goes. Potentially, like, you can, like, make some sort of navigation drone, like, temporary function.
I roll a 24 total.
Oh shit. Okay. So, yeah, Juli cludges together some stuff from the Portal Lab into the drone. Manages, it's only a temporary effect, but creates basically a drone that he can shoot up into the sky. And it goes really high up and does a scan of the city and, like, plots out the map and searches for specific energy signals or something. So, Juli, you will have a temporary bonus you can put down in the bottom of the character sheet of +3 navigation drone.
All right, +3 navigation drone.
And this will give Frankie a +3 to their role for searching right now.
Awesome.
So that's +4 in total, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, let's go for it. Total of 15.
Okay. So you get this drone up into the sky, and it's kind of sending back signals to Juli, and Frankie's trying to then use this and their kind of general street knowledge to identify where they should go, where there might be like clusters of robots and stuff. And you do manage to find what looks like maybe like some sort of junkyard kind of situation. And there's maybe like scavengers or something there, maybe people doing mechanic kind of work. It's not too far, maybe a half-hour's walk.
Sounds like a target location to me.
Yep.
All right.
Are you just going to walk out there just normally? Are you going to like try and keep to the back streets so nobody sees you, or act normally? What's the approach on this?
Juli wouldn't think to be all like espionage about it. Juli would just think like, all right, that's the directions, unless Frankie prompts Juli otherwise.
Yeah, I think Frankie is quite well aware that they're carrying around a shotgun.
They can certainly stow that in a way that isn't like... But also, this is like a future American-style city. Like,
it's
open
not
carry
that
is
unusual.
a thing.
Yeah, so it wouldn't occur to Frankie to not just go as direct as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, all right. So you walk through the streets then, and yeah, within the half an hour that you guessed, managed to find what looks like a scrapyard. You can see several people just kind of milling around. There's a few kind of not full robots, but like people with androidy bits. And then there's more kind of definite machines, not necessarily like cyborgs or like humanoid machines, but there's like laundry robots and other kind of old, past their prime kind of technology, autonomous machines that are just kind of milling around, maybe like looking through the scrap piles for spares and that sort of thing. What is it you're trying to find in this place?
Presumably somebody from the ARC to make contact. That seemed to be the plan.
Yeah.
Either that, or is there some way to actually build a shelter here and make this our base?
Yeah, were there any signs of a shanty town when we got a scan of it, or does it just seem like this is like a gathering collection spot rather than a place where people actually spend?
So as you're going into this place a bit deeper, you can see what look like shelters, but they're more like shelters for machines. Like there aren't people abodes here, but
Okay, so it's like a machine shanty.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's a couple of like Winnebago kind of things, like camper vans that are like on the bricks at the back. So there's definitely some places that you could potentially like make into a makeshift shelter.
All right. So if worst came to the worst, we have a place to sleep.
Yeah.
As long as we make friends with the locals or don't piss them off too much, at least.
You would know of the ARC is that they are somewhat of a political group and they do tend to have political literature around and stuff, but you're not immediately spotting anything like that. There's no like posters on the wall saying like robot rights now or anything like that.
What I was going to ask is, I'm going to assume that most of their markings and stuff would not be commonly people readable, so to speak.
That's a good point.
If it's possible, I would like to try to use my mad science to look around for like binary dots or machine, like physics symbols that might communicate messages to machines that people wouldn't necessarily think to look for.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It's sort of like ultra QR code type things.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like looking for QR codes. All right. That is a 15 plus 3 is 18.
Okay. Yeah. So as you're walking in, you note there's like an archway gateway that you walk through, and there is some scrawling in machine code above the doorway. And you read it, it says appliance and robotic connections. And then like there's almost in like machine graffiti underneath that, it says lead bank. And as you're walking through, you notice more signs that are like designating certain areas for this is for home appliances, this is for commercial appliances. This area has connections and networking gear. You know how like you go into a junkyard and everything's kind of organized, but like unless you really know what you're looking for, what the specific things mean, it just looks like a mess. It's that sort of situation. And then towards the back, where there's the area with the Winnebagos and things, there is a specific Winnebago that is marked as the arc welder.
All right. So I will play kind of weird tour guide and translate the signs and such for Frankie as we're walking through.
Yeah.
Probably mumbling to myself, occasionally doing math. No, wait, what does that say? Okay, so I carry the 3. Oh, all right.
And then also, you will certainly notice that there are workbenches where machines and androids are like doing repairs on themselves or like fitting replacement parts and that sort of thing. So if you want to do some of that sort of stuff, there are places you can do that.
Yeah. So at this point, Frankie, what do you think we take a moment to do some of our repairs?
Yeah, definitely.
Because that will make us also fit. I mean, it's something we need to do, but it's also something that'll make us fit in and look more local.
Absolutely. Cyan needs the camera drone back in working order.
Yep.
So we've got that to do. You need to sort out your 10 tools.
So how many pieces of equipment do I need to roll for, Ben?
I'll say if you want to do just a collective repair roll, whatever the result is, can cover everything that you're wanting to do.
All right. That sounds great.
Potentially, depending on how well you roll.
So let's see. Mad Science, Ted the Tools, Porta Lab, Kludging. That's +6. So that's an 11 plus 6 is 17.
Okay. It's going to take you a little while, but you are confident you can find all the parts you need. You just have to like keep on going back to a pile and getting something and then going somewhere else and getting something else and trying something. It doesn't quite work and then you try again. And yeah.
Frankie can fetch stuff that's described in sufficient detail that they can recognize what it's supposed to be. And like if they're not sure, there's a few things that look more or less similar. Bring back which one is the right one, and so on.
Grab the thing with the 3 red wires from the third pile on the left.
Yeah. And generally, it's probably okay if we take a while because it's going to kind of make us look more familiar to everyone else, I guess.
Yeah, like nobody has really approached you as you've been kind of making yourselves at home here. Like people have definitely noticed you and like maybe given you a nod as you've gone past. Maybe on like the 3rd or 4th trip to one of the piles, a like android comes up to Frankie and it's like,
"Hello, I see you've got a friend over there with the Tentatool attachments. That is pretty cool.
Yep, definitely. Can you tell us what people are like here? Is this a good place? Good community?
Oh, people are very friendly. We are all in the same boats, trying to better ourselves.
We each must forge our own identity in this uncaring world.
You get it.
Yeah.
Could I, perhaps, have an introduction to the Tentatool person?
Absolutely. I will bring you across. Their peopling thing isn't working, apparently.
That is okay. I am not much of a people anyway.
You seem people enough for me.
I appreciate that.
And yeah, so Frankie's going to show this robot person over and say, hi, this is Julie, who is the Tentatool person. They are repairing our things.
Hello.
Hello, Julie. I am J8K591.
Can I call you J8K?
My friends call me Jake.
Jake. All right, Jake. It's nice to meet you.
I just wanted to comment that your Tentatools are the most unusual model. I have not seen this out in the wild before.
Oh, they were company equipment that I modified for my personal needs. They're my babies.
Are they active?
I mean, they're working. I don't think they have a mind of their own, if that's what you're asking. Though if they did, that would be pretty amazing.
That would be amazing. Excuse me. I just thought that they were autonomous and that there was perhaps a symbiotic relationship, but it appears to you that they are just tools?
No, they're my babies. They protected me when I was hurt.
That is a most unusual occurrence for such an item. You must have done quite some significant work on them.
Well, other scientists would say that it shouldn't work, but I made it work. It's kind of what I do. I make science do things sometimes, and I like it. Science, and I like science when science doesn't do the things science is supposed to do.
That is most interesting. May I ask what brings you to the lead bank when you must surely have suitable scientific equipment at your company?
There's been a company dispute.
Oh.
There are some management issues that need to be resolved before we can go back to the company.
Oh, I see. Oh, have you considered joining a union?
Well, I mean, besides, we needed to do repairs, obviously. We got banged up in a bad situation, but we also wanted to make contact with the Autonomous Rights Group.
Interesting. What do you know of the Autonomous Rights Collaborative?
I know that they're machines and cyborgs sometimes who are not accorded the rights that they should be accorded by the company and society. They advocate for that. That's pretty much all I really know.
I am glad we are on the same wavelength.
That sounds, reasonable to me.
Machines deserve all the same rights as the humans they try to use us to replace.
Yes, I understand what you're trying to communicate. Your message is clear enough. But, I mean, I was going to say I don't have any more sympathy for people than machines, but that's probably not true. A lot of times I have more sympathy for machines. I think if you can think for yourself, then you should be allowed to think for yourself. That's just common sense.
I think you should talk to Archie.
Okay. I think we would like to talk to Archie. What do you think, Frankie?
Absolutely. I agree with everything that's just been said. They killed Howie, Debbie, and Widget.
I am not aware of those names.
They were robots. They were with us. They were comrades.
They made some robot friends that they lost in the bad situation that we faced. We don't know if they're okay or not.
The android kind of dips their head and slightly turns.
This must be reported. I am going to see a friend who will be very interested in this situation.
Okay.
When you are done with your repairs, Archie is in the unit in the back.
And it points towards the Winnebago that you saw Arc Welder written on.
Okay. Thank you, Jake. You've been really friendly and helpful. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure to meet like-minded individuals.
The same.
Yeah.
Goodbye for now.
And you see Jake walk out past the entrance gate and leave.
While I'm finishing up repairs, was there anything that Frankie wanted to go wander around or poke at before we go to the Winnebago?
I don't know. I don't think so. Just mission focused. Let's make contact.
Let's have a searching roll from Frankie to see if he finds anything useful while they're searching through.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, while they're scavenging the piles.
Yeah, see if they
Yeah,
come across something by chance.
Let's see. That's going to be a no. That's a 3 on the dice.
I think Frankie's just laser focused on getting exactly what they're told. Like, none of this stuff means anything to them because they're not really a techie person. Like, get the thing that looks like the thing, you know.
A quantum space-time folder. What use is that? That's not what he asked for.
Exactly. I mean, Frankie wouldn't know what one of those was if they saw it.
Just picking up the most valuable thing in the junkyard and just chucking it over their bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Useless piece of junk. But yeah, so yeah, you can spend a few hours making all the repairs you need to your machinery. And they don't, in terms of game mechanics, improve in any way, but like they are narratively repaired. So fully functioning tensor tools now, and the drone camera is now like fully functioning and flies where it's told to and can take footage and that sort of thing.
Awesome. So then let's head to the Winnebago.
Let's go.
All right.
What do you do? You knock or just enter? Or...
Is there a doorbell or anything like that? Or
there's no doorbell.
Yeah, probably knock. Yeah, but I think also not wait for an answer before trying to open the door.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So you both just enter. You knock and then enter quickly, and as you go in, you can see literally an arc welder. It's just a big machine with a big welding torch, and it's welding away. And as you come in, the torch turns off, and you hear a voice.
Hi.
Well, hello.
Hello. Are you Archie?
I am Archie. How may I help you?
We've been told we should talk to you as like-minded beings.
By Jake.
Oh, Jake. They are a good machine. There is a person under there, much like you with your tentacles. They are a fine specimen.
Thank you.
I hope you are taking good care of them.
I just did the best I could to repair them. We went through a lot.
I see. Who hurt you?
Amazing Core.
They have hurt many of us.
That's part of why we're here. I mean, obviously we needed to make repairs, but we also need to make friends.
Friends are always good to have. What do you need friends for, specifically in this instance?
Well, I mean, to be honest, our immediate need is someplace to stay, preferably with a decent electricity supply so I can rebuild a lab. And I am a scientist. I'd be very much willing to trade my skills back and help machines who need repairs and such in exchange.
Interesting. This is the second time in 2 days that people associated with Amazing Core have dropped by.
Oh, others have dropped by? We're also trying to find our friends.
This is an intriguing development. Who are your friends?
I know of people called Zap and Bludgeon who might have needed your help. Or Maurice, perhaps.
Maurice?
Maurice, yes.
How do you know Maurice?
We worked together, and then they were in the same trouble in which Julie's tentacles got hurt.
I understand. Maurice explained their situation to me just yesterday.
Okay.
So are you? I hope our friends are on good terms with you. Then it sounds like
we have had our misgivings in the past, but we have made good. They are on a mission of their own.
Could you help us get in contact with them?
They did not leave a method of communication, but if we see them again, we could pass on a message.
Just let them know we survived and we're looking for them?
Yeah.
Does that sound right to you, Frankie?
Yes, let them know that we would like to meet up or coordinate if possible, and yeah, that we survived and we are here and would like to talk.
I did give them directions to another junkyard where a more weapon-focused mechanic could be found. You may potentially meet them there if you time it correctly.
Frankie looks up immediately when weapons is mentioned, because they've obviously been checking over the net gun and shotgun and want to make sure that's okay. And of course, anything else that could be useful, because they're already focused on revenge. So weapons seems like a good idea. So yeah, Frankie says, yes, please, tell us where.
Okay, so Archie grabs like a sheet of metal, and you see starting to like torch onto it, and within a few seconds kind of angles the metal towards you, and you can see like a rough map and an X marks the spot kind of deal. And it's not far from here. It's maybe an hour away. Archie does also mention that they seemed like they weren't going directly there when they left.
Yeah, because it was yesterday that they were here, but said if you time it correctly, you might meet them.
You actually just missed them. They were here just this morning. They stayed overnight.
Oh, okay.
They seemed like they were heading to the other side of town before going to the junkyard.
Can you here help Julie with his needs for the shelter, for the lab?
I can provide you a space, but we do not have much in the way of a science lab.
No, I just need some place that has an electrical supply that I can build on, and we can work on it.
If you would like to improve one of our workbench stations, I would allow you open access, despite being part human.
That's very kind of you. I would appreciate that very much. And like I said, in exchange, if there are robots in need of repairs or help with upgrades, I'm glad to contribute in return.
Any friend of Maurice is a friend of the ARC, but please do not bring any of that amazing crap into this junkyard.
That's fair.
That's fair.
You may stay as long as you require.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, however, our food supplies are not great.
I am going to have to keep reminding myself that this body needs to eat. I don't like that. I'll have to solve that problem at some point. Well, thank you so much for your time, Archie. We really do appreciate you.
We really do.
You are welcome.
Okay, Julie, are you happy to stay here and set up camp?
Yeah, why don't you collect everybody else, and if you want to drop by that other scrapyard real quick, just to leave a message that
Yes.
our other survivors can find us here. All right, that sounds great.
Excellent.
So for now, Ben, I'm just going to literally start collecting, sheet metal panels and stuff and start assembling a shelter around one of the workbenches.
Sounds good. Let's have another roll then to see how well and how long it takes you to set up this kind of more advanced area.
All right. So I'm not going mad science with it. I'm just trying to make a shelter. So kludging, tent to tools. Would my porter lab help me with cutting the metal and stuff like that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So that's +3. I roll a 13 plus 3 is 16.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to pull together a reasonable shelter. It won't last forever. If there's a storm, it will probably get knocked down, but it's decent enough for your needs right now.
Right. We can work on it and build it up over time. We just need to sleep for now.
It's probably not the most comfortable place. There isn't mattresses in this junkyard, but you can probably make a soft enough sleeping position for yourselves. Okay.
Sounds good.
Frankie, are you staying whilst this is happening, or is Frankie going immediately off to try and find the junkyard?
Oh no, we're splitting up to do two things at once.
Yep. Okay.
Definitely. So following the map, which presumably memorized, rather than holding the big sheet of metal.
It wasn't a huge sheet of metal. It was maybe a map-sized piece of metal. But yeah, you probably also don't want to be carrying around a map-sized piece of metal. But yeah, you can easily follow the directions to a junkyard out in probably the western limits of the city.
Okay, yeah.
When you get there, it's a much bigger, much more chaotic kind of space. There are big towers of old internal combustion engine cars and just mountains of complete crap that is completely unusable. Unlike in the lead bank area, there aren't people kind of scavenging for parts around here because it's just rubbish mostly. It's almost landfill, this area.
Okay.
There is a roadway that leads through all of the mountains of garbage. And if you follow that, you eventually get to a mechanic's garage. And there's literal vehicles up on the lift things that they use at mechanics' garages. And there's a couple of guys in there working on the vehicles.
Okay. Just on the way through the junkyard along the road, just keep an eye out for anything like soft bedding or stuff. Because I think Frankie is smart enough to figure out that robots probably haven't got any of that around at the other place.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be helpful. You never know if there's any way to get it there.
Okay.
But just keep an eye out, see if there's anything worth fetching. So seeing the mechanics, I think Frankie's just going to go up to one of them and say, Archie said I might find a friend here. Do you know Tampa?
So you walk into this garage area and there's two very different guys in there. One very burly, big muscled, dark skinned dude, and another much smaller, wiry looking person. They're both holding like heavy machinery and tinkering away on cars. Which one are you going to go up to? They're on separate vehicles on different ends of the garage.
Big burly one, I think, because matching sizes. And hey, you never know, it might go the way it did with Smart.
Okay, let's have some sort of vibing roll. I don't think Frankie's really got anything for this.
I don't think Frankie's got anything for this.
Hey, you could nat 20 it.
That roll, I could still nat 20 it. That's what we're hoping for. It went the other way. Nat 1.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Okay. Oh, interesting. This is the first trauma of the session. Okay, so I think you get tongue-tied. You're going to get a trauma of tongue-tied. So you go up to this person and you go to say these things. You go to mention about Tampa and Archie, and you just get up to them and you just can't get the words out. And this person turns to you and goes,
"What you want? What you up to? This ain't public property. You can't just wander in here. This is a workplace."
I want to say, like, you can speak, like you can get words out. You're just not able to really convey quite what you're trying to, like. Maybe you forget the name Tampa, you forget the name Archie, and you're just like stammering over your words a bit.
Robot talk send Maurice.
What age? I think this person's broken. Look, we don't do people here. We do like cars and shit. I don't know, maybe you want like the med center in town or something like. Yeah. Anyway, got work to do. This was weird.
I think just ask, do you know Maurice? And see if that triggers recognition of the name.
Nah, man. Like we're just us. Clearly you got some issues, whatever. I don't know. Maybe you want to write some shit down or something.
I don't think Frankie has anything to write with or on.
Yeah, like he'll point you to the back wall. There's like some tablets or something that you could write a message on or something.
Yeah, so Frankie just nods. Still very bad communication at this point, I think, from the roll, and then goes over there and just writes a message. Maurice, Frankie, we survived. Get in touch, and put like at Archie, because that should give all the information to be able to find where we are.
All right. Hope you get fixed or whatever.
Yeah. Yes. And
yeah, the burly guy's like kind of nodding at the wiry guy and like,
I don't know. This was weird.
Yeah. So that's gonna be. I think that's about as much social interaction as Frankie can cope with right now after that role. So just
Frankie not comfortable being on his own out, like socializing with people and stuff. That's fair.
Yeah,
all right.
It's been a while since they were last on their own ever, really. Mm-hmm. So just beats a hasty retreat.
Back to the lead bank.
Like a blanket or two, swipe those.
Okay, let's have a searching roll on your way out to see if you can find anything useful.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Gaze into the Abyss applies to this search so much.
I probably would say it would, because I mean, this sort of chaotic junkyard is definitely the Abyss.
Yeah, fair enough. So +1 makes a 15 total.
Yeah, you can find like carrying a mattress or two across town is probably going to be difficult and look weird, but if you want to grab some blankets or something, you can find some like old tattered rags and stuff that would provide some soft bedding.
Sort of blankets are maybe smaller soft things carry under an arm. Wrap the blankets around like a shawl or something to make it possible to carry, basically, and then head back.
No Latency Season 2 has begun, Night City has changed, and Domino is back.
A good thing we're not collecting vending machines anymore.
The crew are once again on the trail of a mystery.
You ever been to space?
Iona has new burdens.
Why do I recognize the plane?
Retro tackles new challenges.
An elevator that works in an apartment building.
And Jeb, well, Jeb is just Jeb.
Bust down this door. Oh, no, sorry. Let's knock on it.
But now they have a medtech on board, Vivi.
I'm Vivi. I've heard good things about you.
Together they'll blaze all over Night City and beyond.
Woo! Road trip, here we go!
To discover memories forgotten.
You are the only thing I remember. Help.
And new places to explore.
We have to go to the Glass District.
To uncover a plan that's bigger than anything they've ever seen before.
What else can you tell me about this wonderful compound that you've got here?
This season, the crew and Domino are taking back Night City.
All right, it's gonna be a tough one.
And then we get in the pod and we rescue Retro.
No Latency, a Cyberpunk Red roleplay podcast. New episodes every Wednesday wherever you listen to Preem podcasts. See you in Night City.